All right, we are back to talk about some wild stuff going on today in the news, on social media, just a lot of stuff going on. I'm your host, James, with Twisted Toxic Reality. Where that concept came from, we'll talk about another day, but basically, that's how I feel people live. They justify some of the most craziest, most ludicrous things and live their normal lives. That's what they do. That's how they get into things. So, I don't know. I've seen a lot, been around a lot, traveled, did ride shares. So you see a lot of different things in the world going on. And you just be like, that's normal. That's acceptable. That's what you're going to deal with. So that's this concept came up from. But let's get into it. You can't say a lot of things online. There's a lot of trigger words online. I've done some videos before where they actually are getting deleted. So we're going to keep this PG as best as I can, right? So the first one's going on. This girl has to pay $150,000 back to a man she took out. And I'm not talking about to eat. Okay. They has to pay to this family. This happened in Iowa. She was 15 when it happened. She's now 17. And just to read over a few things, it says, as being start, how's a 17-year-old who was a runaway who ran away apparently from an abusive parent. And how she's supposed to even pay that money is my first thought. She didn't get any jail time. She's going to be on a strict probation. I'm reading on computer here, and how is she going to function in that? I could assume that the violations for the probation are so tightly wound that she's going to end up getting put in a bad spot. And if she ends up messing up, I think it's 20 years she can get. You know, Here's the thing when it comes to self defense and taking another person's life. Every state differs how their laws are set up when it comes to self defense, protecting yourself. And these are things people don't read up on. And I can tell you, I joined Reddit this year. I've never been on it, never read it. I always thought it was goofy, but I joined Reddit and I joined my local city. And you realize how far behind, how far uneducated a lot of us are when it comes to the political issues, the social issues, what's being voted on the ballot, what's coming up, taxes, increase, decrease, funding for this, that, and the third. You realize how many of us are really not involved as American citizens, and we get upset when we read stuff like this. Iowa itself has a mandatory restitution thing to be paid when it comes to death, apparently, depending on how it's labeled. I didn't get into a lot of details on it, but the man was asleep when she did it. And he died, and he has children. So the issue with him having a family, why would he be paying for this child in the first place? It's a messed up case all the way around. Triggered a lot of people, pissed off a lot of people. I'm not sure where the money's going to come from, but what they're saying is she was not an immediate threat. And that is the biggest thing when it comes to self defense. Even when you do have the case, it still is a lot to be proven. They're going to discredit you. And if you don't have any money saved up in the bank, which I'm sure a 50-year runaway definitely didn't have, guess what? Public defender. And we know how the public defenders get down to get down. And that is they're not looking out for you at all. They're not thinking about you. They're not worried about you. They're not impressed by you. Like nothing's going to do. And I can say that because I've been in court. I've had to deal with a case with false charges. And I got there early and they brought me to the room because I guess they're not going to put me in jail, do anything with me, right? And these guys are talking about their golf outing, and then they were talking about some money that they lost on a bet with fantasy football. And it's like, these people are friends. They're associates. They know each other. So even if you're paying for somebody to represent you, they're most likely going to be friends. They're most likely going to be buddies. They're going to know something about something, and you'll be stuck up there looking a bit crazy, looking a bit out of place, and you don't even know, as they said, the deal's probably made before you even showed up. The deal's probably made, you know, way ahead of time, and you're stuck there, and you're going to have to deal with the consequences. And there's literally nothing you could do about it unless you're paying somebody out of pocket. And even then, that money dries up real fast. I remember I had a lawyer rate one time for something I was dealing with, and they were like, the first guy was 250 an hour. Then they got me down to another guy. He was 180 an hour. And literally, so they have to document their time and everything they're doing, and that can get real pricey, real expensive. So this is a case. There's some petitions coming out. They want to help this girl out, figure out what to do. She was homeless. She was sleeping in the hallway. got into this man ended up seeing her, let her in, and started pimping her out, selling her to different men. And it was all types of bad for her. Let me see if I can read a good snippet out of here. Why was there a knife on the nightstand next to him? That was very odd. So I'm assuming maybe she already planned it or planted it and had it going on. I had a few back and forths with people on social media, and a lot of people's biggest uproar was, well, what you want me to do? He that was maybe her only chance to escape. That's maybe the only way she's going to get out of that situation. So how can you actually be mad at her, right? You can't. You technically can't, but at the same time, you got to know your laws. You got to get involved, especially everybody's buying guns now, right? There's a big rising, especially with that capital invasion. Everybody want to buy guns, but you got to know gun laws. Like I remember a case a while back where a woman, what happened to her? I remember what was it? Oh yeah, she did warning shots and got years for warning shots because obviously what goes up must come down. I don't know what kind of mad scientist, video games, movies y'all's watching, but bullets don't have enough power to shoot in outer space and lead a planet and orbit the galaxies in the world. Like that's not how they work. So you need to know your laws. And I know I'm gonna push for it, but look into Reddit. Honestly, look into Reddit. A lot of people post about what's going on in your local area, community events, voting, and get actively involved in your stuff and look up some laws. Start a petition. Nobody's probably done a petition, thought about petition, always wave those people off after signing. But there's a process to get laws reviewed, changed, adjusted, amended, or completely obliterated out of the system. But who's actually doing that? Who's actually involved when it comes to their local politics, local government, township, anything? There's zoning changes. I mean, there's a pushback where I live at because they're supposed to build a big amusement park bigger than Walt Disney there, and that ended up going away. The local people pushed back about the traffic and the zoning, and ODOT was involved. It's a big deal, but a lot of us aren't even involved. You don't know something being built or going on in your city until it pops up on the news, or you happen to drive down the street you ain't driven down before. They done redid the whole neighborhood. They done built a massive apartment complex or a manufacturing plant, whatever. You have no idea. And now your taxes may have went up, rent goes up there. So how things go on? Get involved in your city. Find out what's going on. Because if you're not active, you're inactive. And if you're inactive, you can get blindsided. You're walking around aimlessly, you know what's going on. So that's what I got to say about that. With this situation, I'm going to keep reading up on this. But she did get her GED. She is looking on the bright side. She is trying to build a future, have a better life. And like I said, she is not getting any time in prison. So things may work out for her. Now, this thing about this list of people being taken out, there's been a lot of posts about the rap community. Apparently, this entire label is a claim now that this whole label has somehow been taken out, wiped out, controlled alt, deleted, not to be repeated. We got to clear the roster, start over, no more bench warmers. Everybody got to go. And we ain't trading you. We trading you to Jesus. I am confused. Because this woman posted that she was at a place, when you get up there, you get up with the money. You sometimes want to go back to something basic and simple, the lavish lifestyle, you just want to feel normal. That's what I know a lot of celebrities, a lot of rich people, a lot of privileged people have complained about when they become popular or they get a social media following, that they don't get the ability to feel like a normal human being. They can never just go to a mall. They can never just go to a gas station. They never go to a corner store, buy snacks, chips, pop, whatever, and take it back home to their family. Never just walk around outside. We see how paparazzi be chasing people down. I never forget my boy Toby Maguire, when the paparazzi was flashing him so bad, he's trying to pull out of some lot or whatever. I don't know if I forgot it was a movie premiere or whatever, but he started cussing him out because he could not see pulling out, and it was actually very dangerous because if you're trying to pull out of a way and the sidewalk is packed with people with flashing lights, how can you make a left or right turn with that in your eyes? So that was pretty wild, But this guy, PNB Rock, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I've heard a single song he's made. It's not that I'm out of touch. I've got to this point in my life where the culture and the music and me now being a father, taking a break from it, not respecting it really since I got out the military. you kind of just realize like it's not positive, and it projects a ideology, a thought process, and a logic when you look at women, when you look at men dealing with children, becoming a father. It's like I wouldn't want nobody treating my daughter like that. I wouldn't want nobody talking to my girlfriend or wife like that. I don't want nobody talking to my mother, my sister, my aunties, uncles, my brothers, my cousins. I wouldn't want nobody talking to my family like that or looking at them like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't want to deal with that. And so you don't want to support that. You like your family members or friends or loved ones to be able to walk to a store and not think nothing. You like somebody to not feel entitled to a woman's body, you know. What I find interesting a lot when it comes to these songs and these rap songs they put out is a lot of these guys feel I'm in a status, I'm in a position so high, right? That your girl gonna want me. Or if I see your girl and I want her, she gonna come with me because I got the money. So they're essentially saying that all women have a price tag on them. So because I have access to a lifestyle, because you now see me or you experiencing me, that you're going to want to get a sample or taste, thinking that you may get a piece of what I got. So it's just weird entitlement, kind of controlling, manipulating, almost predatory type mindset that these rich rappers get when it comes to women. So a lot of guys may take offense to that. And obviously, of course, they come from cities and neighborhoods and small towns that you come from, and there's a jealousy, the bitterness, the envy, and obviously the big one we don't talk about was the word coveting. So they don't just want to get like you. They want exactly what you want. They want your car. They want your house. They want your girl. They want your money. They want your fame, your attention. So a lot of these rappers create a very coveted lifestyle because people want to be them. And then they put out music saying, you want to be me. I'm the best. I'm from here. I'm from there. I did this. I did that. Like I'm looking at the first article when you search this guy, PNB Rock, and he's sitting there with a jacket on, got his hands up like this. This is an interesting pose here. Fingers down like this. I see there's a nice ring here, another ring here, a watch here. I'm like he has two watches on. The guy has two watches on, three rings. The chain is simple, but it's obviously large. The jacket says Rude McLaren, something McLaren. I'm not sure. But the guy probably, just in what I can see, I would bet that jacket is probably a couple $1,000s. And I'm sure, the jewelry price they mentioned easily six figures for jewelry. So if I see you with something like that on, and I'm poor, my family's poor, struggling, I went to school with you, maybe you said some just like with Facebook, right? What's the thing that was going on social media? The shoe don't fit, what? You shouldn't comment. It ain't got nothing to do with you, right? But what tends to happen is when you're jealous, envious, and you're covering somebody else, when they ever say any little slick little lines, you always end up getting your feelings. You really get upset. You really get pissed off. And so you taking a lot of these guys' words personally. You're really diving in and taking it into your soul. Like, this nigga talking about me. This nigga disrespecting me. I'm like, it's really not the case, but you may have actually known this man. You may have actually been friends with him at one point. He started responding to your messages on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever you may have contacted him, or you saw him in person. He acted like he had no idea who you was, We always talk about villain stories all the time. There's always funny posts on social media about something happened to one person and they just became awful, right? There's always that projection on them from videos we see. And looking at this guy, it's like these lifestyles. And one thing they talk about is about hitting licks, right? I remember that was a big thing, walk around hitting licks. And it's meant to be you target people who have money, who have access to money, who have access to resources, who have things that are tangible on them that you can flip real quick and make some money. Like I'm sure y'all have heard of the Kia boys, right? That's these guys who are so intelligent, they figure out a way to hack into these vehicles and get access to these cars like fast. And they're snatching up people's cars, robbing these people their vehicles. They at work, you at lunch, you at the daycare picking up your kids, wherever you're at, and you come outside and your car is gone. These guys actually got a news interview. Cover that mask, all cover up everything, right? You can't even see nothing but their eyes. And they're doing it. And then one news had these guys, they were driving a car. I remember the car jumped the curb. I'm like, Y'all are sitting there filming a guy drive around in a stolen vehicle for the news. I'm like, nobody thought to call the police. Like, it's the actual nat news crew filming these guys. That just blew my mind, right? But these things are going on. It's just complete utter wildness, madness. But back to the rap situation, it's a lick. It's an easy target. And so these guys get found. So this woman wanted to live a normal life, wanted to take a breather from whatever she was doing, and happened to check in with a post. And people obviously knew that's his girl, and they pulled up on him, which means he's already been on the list. He was already being scoped out, being watched. They was waiting on an opportunity. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Somebody been waiting for you. They're gonna get them today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next season. They were coming, and at this point, I don't know if I'd ever visit LA. I'm gonna be honest. I got a couple people I follow who are food culture. They're foodies, and they're always posting in LA about the food and the cuisine and the local culture. But granted, I don't live this lifestyle, right? I don't do anything. So is anybody gonna be looking at my goofy self? I mean, kinda. I'm 6'4". I stand out. Less than what 6'4". That puts me like less than 5% of the population is 6'4" or taller. Forget the numbers drop down. It starts at 6 feet or taller. Is 14.5% of the total population of men in America. That includes all races. So you include black men in that. That's probably a super small percentage. If you add that height, I'm just going off all races. Anybody says 6'4", right? That's definitely up there. So I might stand out for that. I'm heavy set guys right now. I might stand out, but somebody gonna look at me and like I'm gonna rob him, looking like I got something. I mean, my truck's nice. Or Air Max 90s from time to time, but I don't walk around with nothing flashy. My wedding ring, which I don't have on because it's in the shop. It's in the shop, right? My job is a little rough and I damaged it, so it's getting repaired, right? But I don't know, man. LA just seems wild, man. It's like still like in the movies I remind me of. I watched Predator 2 was set in LA. If you get a chance, go and watch Predator 2. That movie had like four different movies going on. And there was a gang war, there was a police versus crime war, there was a predator going on in the city, and then there's some high up syndicates doing trafficking of people. It was a mess. It was a mess of a movie that's hilarious. There's so much going on. Cop retention was low. There was harassment of men on one. And I tell you, that movie was funny. Danny Glover, shout out to you, man. That was a great movie. But LA, crazy, 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 crazy city, crazy, crazy, crazy things going on. A lot of people getting taken out. And what gets disheartening for a lot of black people, right? If these guys build themselves up and they say they play the game until they get to a position where they can do differently, and you realize these guys can do more than me at my salary and my wife's salary could do to rebuild the black community. They're investing in apartments. They're there. They're doing loans for family and friends, starting a business, and these guys are getting taken out. So even though they may be flashing with the lifestyle, the money, the intimidation factor, that I'm tougher than everybody, I'm stronger than everybody, your girl want me off rip. These guys are giving back behind closed doors, is not getting put out there. Last person I remember that was really big about it, obviously, is Nipsey Hussle. A lot of people know down in Texas, Slim Thug, who was popular when I was younger, like in the early 2000s. He has a buy back the block program, and I remember he has a video I remember seeing him put online, and he had a whole brand new like street they did the fresh concrete, sidewalks, all the housing was new, the street was new. So he had that going on. They're investing. You don't see them putting out too much money. They've kind of grown and matured out of the rap culture. It's pretty disappointing in Young Jeezy. Just throwing this out there. I expect this last album to be something of maturity, something of growth and progression. And what he put out, I was pretty pissed off about. I thought it was pretty terrible, but he ain't my daddy, he ain't my brother, my cousin. He'll live his whole life and possibly pass away. Never knew I existed. Not possibly, everybody dies, right? But he'll pass away and never knew I existed. So it wasn't nothing to hold on to. But it's just like, you hear Jay-Z when he came out with 444, some of the other artists who've released albums that are more mature progression in life. Him putting out an album for the streets as his final album was pretty lame to me. But you can't expect much, right? They're not leaders. They're not anything to that magnitude. But we tend to glorify them and put them in those positions. But are they really? Not really. So craziness, just absolute craziness going on here. As I touched on last week with that girl, social media taking her life, you know, and now we have this culture where it's like, who is really hurting us? And this whole us thing, quotations, because traditionally we're tribal people and we don't necessarily have to be one body, and that's not really the culture or the lifestyle logic live anywhere. You have your groups, your cliques, your pods, whatever name you want to have them, and that's what you function with. Black people here, do they need to be unified and aligned with black people in Cali? They need to be unified and aligned with black people in Detroit and Florida. It's not really possible because the culture, the lifestyle, the code of conduct are different, right? Just like emergency roadway plans are going to be different in Florida than, and let's say Nebraska or in the Dakotas, right? Because foul weather in Florida is not going to be the same foul weather here. So there are always going to be things that are structurally and regulated to the area of stuff. You can do some things together, but things are going to be different, and they should be different, and it should just be overall progression. But we see an overall recession, an overall downtrodden, overall crippling effect where people are just screwed up, jacked up, and they're just producing madness. I'm sorry, I've been stuffed up saying these hotels. It's killing me. You try to adjust the air, you turn it up, you turn it down, you go to sleep, you wake up, nose clogged. It's a disaster, right? Anyways, I struggle sometimes on this whole united front. We need to. But every time you try to get people together and bust a move, things fall apart. I mean, for example, obviously I was already on a monetized platform doing this, and the people that was there just attack after attack and falling off. Can't get people to agree, can't get people to come together, and people don't do their parts. And eventually people just fade out. Life happens to people. People want to pick up the other people's slack, and things just stop. They just stop, and you got to go on your own way. That's why it's very hard in business, as I've said on other podcasts. The co-host I had was, two people running stuff. It usually don't work out. Usually everybody has one CEO in charge, and so, it's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to do my own thing, branch out, do street interviews, do more things, do questionnaires, and get involved, get active, and run this how I want to run it, and do it when I can do it on my time and on my format, because I get busy. Traveling for work is a time-consuming job. So that's that. I'm going to keep moving, keep it pushing, get more organized, get cleaned up, get back in a better format, try a new format, try a different layout, call it a day, right? But trying to unite and work with other people is a struggle. We can't even get our families to put money together, right? Like annually, right? Who hosts Thanksgiving? Annually, like who hosts July 4th? Annually, right? Who hosts possibly a family trip? Why are we not have a family bank account where everybody is automatically deducting $25 out of their paycheck, $40 out of their paycheck? Why are we not? We can't even get our households together. We can't even get our marriages together. We can't even get our children together. We can't get brothers and sisters together. We can't get mom and dad to stay together. So there's so much literally crumbling going on in the community that we want to protect this, do this, protect the kids, protect the women, protect black men's mental health, protect the children's mental health, the women's mental health, protect the dogs, protect the cats. We want to do all this stuff, but you can't do when nobody's on the same team. This is like a free-for-all dodgeball, or basically Call of Duty online, right? Every man for himself match. There is no team effort, because to get to these levels of this built collective unison, you got to get the household in line, and that's not even happening at all. At all. Who's in charge of the households? This is power struggle. I make money. I do this. I do that. Everybody's attacking each other because of a couple dollars, a couple of little dollars, and people attacking each other. Look at the sound.
Damn.
Right. Everybody's on crack. That's how I feel sometimes. Because you just see people attacking with no regard, no respect, no appreciation. And what are you going to do with that? You're not going to do anything with that. So to say we need to be united and do this, we need to be united and do that, we need to band together. You got a bunch of individual strays, lost sheep trying to come together. And once you finally get in that space, because you've been powerless, because you've been struggling. Everybody wants to boss up, be in charge. Everybody wants to be the big chief working. And who's actually going to do the work? Everybody wants to start a business. Eventually, they're going to need employees. If everybody's trying to run their own business, that's not going to work. But obviously, that's not going to be everything. So we're going to have to go down that metric, right? But you see what's going on. Division, 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 division. And now we're in the decimals, okay? And what are you going to do? If the house ain't aligned, trying to do all these extra steps isn't going to work. So we can't even get marriages the last 5 years in our community. We get divorced and we're so nasty and toxic, and people want to take the children away, want to confiscate this, want more money. You got to pay increase. We need to increase. Like, it's just such nasty behavior, such immoral lifestyles and logic. And you're like, okay, we supposed to go and do what together collectively? You can't even call your mom, your daddy, and get them to help this. You can't even call your brother and sister and get them for that. You can't call your friends from school, high school, co-workers. It's so much keep my business, keep my peace, protect my inner peace. You see all this selfish instead of selfless lifestyles. And everybody wants to live lives. Everybody wants a big car. Ain't nobody saving no money. You don't even save money. And we're mad now. What's going on? Now we getting into the nonsense, right? What's going on? Everybody's tripping about gentrification, okay? How many of y'all have $50,000 or have the credit to get access to $50,000, $60,000? I say, no, let's drop it down. $30,000 to do some renovations on your grandma's house so it can be rented out. How many of y'all go get the credit for that? How many of y'all have the cash available to that? How do you have the line of credit available to that? You don't, right? You're mad at gentrification. We don't even own these houses. Your grandmother, somebody owned the house, passed it down, and what? They come in and buy it off you because you ain't got no cash. You inherited from a death, and you ain't got no money, so you end up cashing out, and that $50,000, $60,000 they get y'all blow it. Y'all don't even invest the money. Y'all fight over who's getting it, and you blow it, right? We don't even have living wills. So we're dying, and things are getting caught up in litigation, and they're getting going on taxes. I remember talking to somebody about this. They had a relative pass away, and they literally could not make a payment to the mortgage company because nobody's documented on anything. Nobody had account access information. So we don't have living wills. So not only is our lives chaotic when we're here, afterlife is even worse because what you leave behind is just wildness. Like, for example, in my household, we are getting a list together of all login and passwords, right? We're getting accounts lined up for access, and we're going to work on our will as well and have things set in place because driving is a very high cause of death, okay? Walking, people jump curbs, right? Because they're on their phones, right? Everybody wants to text nowadays, right? Everybody wants to be on their phones and driving. Like, oh man, what the hell? What the hell he posted? You talking about me? And so you see people on their phones doing this. Look, I'm not even looking at y'all, and they do some wild stuff. I've seen people jump curbs. Get you a vehicle, drive a vehicle with lane departure controls on it. You'll see how bad of a driver you probably are. Me, I guide to the right. That actually is how I was taught to drive because especially I do a lot of country road driving. That's actually a safety practice when you're driving, traveling for work. That's part of the training because if there's rain and there's heavy rain and inclement weather, you guide to the right because, country road is single lane, right? So you're going to be more over. So if that person just passed that median line and goes over your lane, if you're more over in the lane, there's a little bit of room for them to be up air, right? So that's kind of how I naturally drive, and my vehicle just be nudging me over in the wheel. It's kind of crazy, kind of ping pongs in lane. But anyways, getting back on subject, people are divided. People all over the place. People cannot work together. So we talk about united fronts. We talk about enemy. We talk about helping each other out. We can't do anything. Somebody said on Offset said, pray for PNB Rock. The man got family and kids. Shaking my head. God be with that man. Be with the man. And but these guys are talking about it. DJ Academics, right? Wow, this PNB Rock situation crazy. I just did an interview with him a week ago where he detailed how someone tried to rob him in LA recently while he was out with his girlfriend and daughter. Now they're shaking my head. PNB, pray for PNB Rock. They've been after him. They've been looking for him. It's a lot of money. After Pop Smoke, there's no way we as rappers or our loved ones are still posting locations to our whereabouts to show waffles and some fried chicken. He was such a pleasure to work with. Condolences to his mom and family. This makes me feel sick. Jesus. Hashtag SIP, hashtag PNB Rock. That's from Nicki Minaj, right? But again, what do they glorify? It's a massive contradiction. They glorify what targets them. Obviously, Mark Zuckerberg may not be posting where he's at, right? But again, they're in this lavish lifestyle, so his girlfriend is going to be living a lavish lifestyle. What do? They get these women who are very high end looking, high end projecting social media presence people. You're not getting the church girl. You're getting a woman who's constantly on social media, constantly down for attention, doing ads and explicit ads and sexual based things online. You look at some of these women's profile, and you see the entire details of their bodies. You got women posting their underwear, and you see the whole silhouette. You see it, and it doesn't matter to them. So that's his lifestyle. They want the attention. They want the fame. It gets them endorsements. It gets them this, that, and the third. And then also they want to still be relatable. We all remember Jennifer Lopez, right? I'm still Jenny from the block, right? That's the thing. I can't imagine being a millionaire and even finding what that picture that looked uninviting to me. Okay, I have a premium waffle maker at the house. Hire a chef carpenter. I would never probably eat that if I was worth millions of dollars ever again. There wouldn't be no humility. A place that probably is not that sanitary. Dishes get half washed, partially washed. The equipment doesn't get properly cleaned and sanitized off. No, thank you. As they said, McNair said chicken and waffles. It didn't look good. Excuse me. Now he's gone. How you gonna fix? Ain't no fixing this. Ask me, ain't no fixing this, man. I don't think you're gonna fix none of this because they're not gonna quit their jobs. They're not gonna change up their music because it's become so addicting to the consumer and the producer. Just like they say, the relationship between somebody who sells drugs and versus a user, they become addicted to each other. They're both intertwined so deep. Tell Nick Minaj to cover up, talk about life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And we all remember, right, when the one guy, who was the guy who was a famous rapper, independent, Chance the Rapper made an album about his wife and he got clowned. I don't know if he's made any major hits since then, but he made an album dedicated to his love and appreciation and value for his wife. And he got clowned. Clowned. So even if you want to do it, you can't do it. Nothing to be said. So I'm going to end it on that note. Thanks all for those who tuned in. If not, the playback, well, the videos I'm going to be posting, I'm going to be getting into some other things, getting into some different forms of content, do some interviews, doing some pre-recorded things, and getting something nice and formatted, right? Get scenery, background, sound effects, a lot of different things. I'm going to play this board a lot more, get some sound effects put in here so I can have them in the videos, you know. I'm gonna hit all these and see how they sound when I play this back, right? Give me a second. Yeah, boy. That's my voice too, right? Come on, son. Come on, son. Come on, son. Not a fucking chance. That's the funny when I record it. Kevin Hart. Yeah. That's James Brown, right? Damn. Correct. So I'm gonna be getting into some things, get some things going for the channel here, get this channel built up. Watch a lot of videos, how to build, how to get back in the flow of life, get myself on a set schedule, all that good jazz, right? But social media, social world, the twisted toxic reality that we all living in. How to unplug, as they say, from the matrix and look at things from a big, broad perspective, a bird's eye view, if you will call it. You know, you look at your Google Maps and you have your satellite view. You can see everything and lay it out. Then, you know, Apple, I think, and Google now have you can rotate and see a 3D view, so you can be up top and then rotate at an angle. We need to step out, step back, and look at what's going on. What are we actually doing? What are we actually engaging into? What are we engaging into our lives? What are we putting into our lives? What are we putting into our bodies? What are we putting into our children's bodies, our loved ones' bodies? Like, what are we doing? Like, do you ever think about that? You know, you ever pause and like, what am I doing, and what am I actively doing on a regular basis? And it is going to help me reach my goals, whether it's weight loss, financial savings, clearing debt, building a portfolio for investments, real estate. What are you actually doing? I don't think nobody's pausing actually considering that. What the hell am I doing in my life? Where the hell is my life going? Where the hell do I want my life to go? And how the hell am I going to get there? Where is the actual plan of life? Where's the plan of action? We don't have them. A lot of us don't have them. A lot of us aren't lining up and doing the things that are productive for tomorrow, sacrificing 5% of today. So therefore tomorrow is better, right? Put that snack back. Don't buy them bags of chips. Don't go out to eat. Cook that food that's been sitting there that you know is going to expire in the next couple of days. No, screw it. You're going to do what you're going to do, right? And that always offsets the next day and the next day. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to bring some things. I'm going to get crazy, get some guests back. We're going to do a little bit of everything. Till then, y'all take care. Have a good night. Be blessed and safe. Don't post your goddamn location.